Okay, you're looking at a picture of the new Pancake drum set that I made. I want to do something a little different than the last one that I just put up the two videos for, and I'll talk more about that set. But there's a great thread at the Drummer World forum that I've never seen before. I've been there for years and I haven't seen it, and it's on a do-it-yourself modification type stuff. Guys have all kinds of great ideas. So rather than take pictures, individual pictures and explanations of stuff I do, I thought I'd make this quick video because on this set, which is a traveling set for me, my big set's in storage, and aside from the cymbals, a lot of this hardware is stuff that's kind of sitting around in boxes, and I bastardized things and redid things and redone things and stuff like that to just have this set going. And a lot of the things I do for modification and do-it-yourself are on this set, so I thought, okay, I'll just make a quick video of it and post that on YouTube and then just put a link to it, and people can just take a look at it and see what they think. I'll play the set later. You know what it is with these cameras, right? You play something and the automatic level control goes crazy. Then you want to talk and the microphone won't pick up what you're saying anymore because it's gotten used to that volume. So I won't play that. I'll play the new set on another video, but I'll give you an idea of some of the stuff that goes into it. But let me start here first. Let's see. This silicone is your friend. This is just take a tube of silicone, right? $6, whatever, hardware store, and you empty it into the lid of a Tupperware container, whatever size you want. This is like 6 inches, whatever. And you let it sit for a week or two to make sure it really hardens up, because you can see the battered edges on this one. This is the second one I made, and I took it out too quickly, and the edges weren't quite hardened yet. They weren't cured. But this is too thick. This is like 2 lids thick, affixed together with some silicone. Makes a great drum pad. I love the feel of it. You can put it on the coffee table or put it anywhere you want. It's kind of quiet, and it's cool. Just a cool feel to it. I didn't make this, but there's a guy on eBay that sells this that you kind of do it yourself, in the sense of this is siliconized rubber, 1.5 inches thick by 14 inches. I love this for a drum pad. It's really cool, the spongy stuff. I like drum pads that don't have a lot of rebound, so I can work my wrists and fingers and then transfer that strength to the drum head. But anyway, that's kind of a do-it-yourself drum pad. I didn't make it, but I utilized it for that. Okay, let me start here. Quickly, these are 5/16 steel rods, right? Get them, hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. And if you have a vise, you just rubber mallet, put them in the vise, and you can bend your 90-degree angles, and you can custom make them for any length you want to set up any way you need to around the drum set. All right, you get a 5/16 18 thread count thread maker, and you put your thread on there, and you can put your wing nuts and your nuts and stuff to secure things down. Vinyl tubing goes over stuff to protect your cymbals, and you hook them to your drum set with these electrical grounding clamps. And if you have a little bit more weight than for a splash cymbal or percussion or something, you can just use 2 clamps, and you put your down rod into a couple of clamps to hold it more securely. But as you can see, they're all different sizes, configurations. I put splashes on them, small crashes, percussion, remote hi-hats and stuff in all kinds of places. I've got them on this set, but I just wanted to show this as a bunch of stuff that I've made over the years that I'm not using right now. But that is what I do have on the set that I'll show you in a bit. I make my own stick bags. I haven't bought a stick bag in ages. These are made out of naugahyde. That's made out of tooled leather. And as you can see, they're either threaded together with the rawhide shoelaces. That's what keeps all my seams together. Or I put them together with staples. I just staple them. You can't see the staples on the outside edges because I turned them inside out to staple them, and then you pop them back the regular way, and you don't see the staples. They hold together real good. You make them whatever size you want for brushes, whatever stick length you have, mallets. These, I make my own mallets. I don't even buy mallets. Okay, so here you have 1/2 inch dowel, right? And there's some silk. I just had some silk fabric around. My wife had it or something. These are years old now. And there's underneath here is window, weather stripping. And you can wrap it as tight or soft as you want. You can get different thicknesses. And then you just affix your, I'm getting out of the camera angle, and you fix your silk on there or whatever material you want. And you can make your own mallets. They sound really good. Matter of fact, here's another, this is a stick. I think this is a Peter Erskine stick. It's all worn off now. And then up at the top, again, just some foam. That's an old sock, probably, that I cut down or something. And they're very soft. Make great mallets. So when you make these bags, you can set them up for any depth you want for brushes, whatever. There's a vinyl tube here that goes inside the loop, and that's what stiffens up when you hang it with your, whatever you hang it with, shoestring, rawhide, whatever. That stiffens it up so it doesn't totally collapse on you. And I hang them all around the drum set for different stuff to go in it. So there's do-it-yourself there. Let's see, I'm going to walk behind the set. If I can drag my extension cord here, show you some stuff. So the set now, here's the set. That was the 14-inch quote-unquote bass drum. And I took it out and I made a floor tom out of it. So it's now 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, and then the 13. And so I widened it out, added a drum, widened it out, and I still have the same 6x10 snare drum, which, by the way, I got off eBay. I don't know if I mentioned this in the other video, doesn't matter. I got that off eBay, 6x10, it's a Griffin snare drum, and it's like $42 or something like that. And I did change the lugs on it, I will say that, because the lugs on there were pretty not so good. So I changed the lugs on it and took the wrap that they had off, and I just painted it the hammered copper that I painted the whole thing from the other set. And it's working out really good. I've got a 2-ply EC2, Evans EC2 head on it because I broke the 10-inch single ply that was on there. A little too much force. But the 10-inch drum, and I got this idea of this concept. Did I mention that kind of Trelock Gertu? If you've ever seen Trelock Gertu play, he's got that weird triangular setup in front of him with a snare drum, and he does the whole thing kneeling down on the floor and stuff. I thought I just want to make a whole drum set like this, and I've made a bunch of tom setups, rack toms and stuff to my left. I've had all different configurations in the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But I decided to make a whole drum set this time. And I made that last one that I videotaped, and I'll do this one on another video. And it's just 3/4 inch plywood. It's got the hammered black look finish to the paint, spray paint, and the copper and the black kind of goes nice together. I had some other ideas for this, and I'll experiment with some other stuff. There's guys that are asking about making them stuff, and I can make this into a 4-piece set or whatever, and you can only see the wing nuts. You can only see the wing nut right there, and there's another one over there, but can you see that through the head? You see that? There's a cymbal stand holding it up at those, there's 3 contact points, the snare drum, and then 2 cymbal stands without the tripods. Can you see through that head? There it is. So I take the tripods off, and they're just sitting there, and it holds the whole thing up. On a 4-piece set, mercy, probably just the snare drum would hold the whole thing up by itself. And as you can see, I had enough room in between the floor toms that I cut down those yesterday. Those were, I forget what size, B8 Pros or whatever it had. A line around that I've experimented with, and those are cut down to 6 inches, and those are cut down to 8 inches, and I've got a couple of stationary hi-hats in between the whole thing, which I can mess around with. There's like a bolt coming up through the plywood that sucks in, stove bolt sucks into the wood, a nut on top at the surface. Bolt comes up, put everything on, little vinyl tubing to protect everything, and away you go. All right, so on this side of the set, where do I want to start? Okay, 1/2-inch rod. You see the 5/16? Here's the 1/2-inch rod. That's 1/2 inch going into a DW, and a lot of the companies use 1/2-inch size stock for those, for the typical knurled rods. I don't know what, I think I bought these off eBay without the rods in them. So you get this 1/2-inch rod at the hardware store, and then there's a tilter that you can buy from Gibraltar that goes right onto the 1/2-inch rod. Then you can get these in 3 or 4 foot lengths at the hardware store, so you can extend a cymbal way out from some point, and it works pretty good. In this case, I'm using it there. This is another one of those. I've got these 5/16 rods. They're all over the place, but I've already explained those, so I don't need to get into that. Cymbal modification. There's a whole thread at Drummer World just for cymbal modification. This is that's a Wuhan. That's a cut down Wuhan underneath, and probably a B8 Pro I had splash or something popped inside out, and gives it a that white noise stationary hi-hat kind of thing. These ribbon crashers. What's the name of the guy that makes those? I forget now. Anyway, this is my version. Do it yourself, right? You get a cracked cymbal off eBay, or if you crack one yourself, don't throw the pieces away, okay? You cut out the cymbal, and that you got the good part left. Here's what's left, right here, about 1.5 inches wide, the outer rim. Cut it down to different lengths. Flip them over on top of each other. Don't just lay them flat on each other. Flip them over so it's concave, convex. And there's like 4 layers here, mounted on a piece of oak with some 1/4-inch bolts coming up through and tighten down. And same thing, they just drill your holes, and there they sit, and they make a really cool ribbon crasher, white noise kind of thing. Clamp. Okay, those just oak that I had from another project, right? So it's like, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches long. It's 1x3 oak, and solid piece here, solid piece here. Then you cut it in half by a 1/4 inch gap. Leave, drill your holes. These are 1/2-inch bolts and wing nuts and washers. And man, I can put dents in chrome tubing with this. I mean, this will really grip stuff, especially with these 1/2 inch. I can really get some torque into those, and you don't have to go that tough. But I'm not holding my camera right. Sorry about that. But if clamps cost a lot of money, these do not have the hinges, of course. But still, to save money, you could make these things all day long, and for just pay what, $15 for a 1x3 by 8 foot long piece of oak from the lumber yard, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and do what you want for the edges. And I don't know, but anyway, that I've got one there, and I've got one here on the other side of the set, holding up this hi-hat giggy. This has 3/8 bolts on it, which are okay. 5/16, it's kind of tough on the thumb and forefinger when you go to tighten things because they're so small. Okay, here's my splash thing here. This is just oak as well, and you can cut it into whatever configuration you want, finish off the edges however you want. And matter of fact, if I was what's his name, Gavin, I could have another couple of bolts coming up through here, longer ones, and I could have a whole little rack and stuff there. You can put. I left space here in case I want to change it for like 8-inch or 10-inch or something. So I left more space. Right now I have 3 6s on there, and works good. And again, it's just hooked up to, it's a Latin percussion mount, but I've got one of my own rods in it for lengths purpose. That's how that hooks up. I think that's about everything on that side of the set. Did I mention the silicone? This is a dot of silicone right here. Did I already mention that? I can't remember now. This is a dot of silicone. Get a tube of silicone for $6 and you've got a moon gel forever. If you keep it, from hardening up inside the tube, just keep it wet, just keep it moist, and with some kind of plug cover that works well, and silicone. There it is. And if that's too much dampening, then you just peel it right off, put a smaller damp on, or just put a little thread of it or something. So silicone is your friend. You see that? Maybe I got a reflection there. That's not good from the lamp in the ceiling. So there's the silicone, the dot of silicone. And that works like moon gel. Here's another one of the ribbon crashers, a smaller one, and another one here. And you just hook up to the oak with the bolts coming through and put them wherever you want. Broken cymbals. Do not waste anything when you're a do-it-yourselfer. You know that you don't waste anything, right? Modification, again, I cut down something for underneath, and an 8-inch splash I got off eBay for $5, cracked right here at the bell. You can see that I filed out the crack, but still, for this it works out really good. Let's see, this is a Paiste Cup Chime, which is all nice and legal all by itself, but this was a 19-inch Paiste signature crash that here's the crack right here. I thought, man, it's unfortunate, but I got it off eBay, and I cut it down and make these bell sounds with them. Matter of fact, this is the edge, I think, of this. That's where those pieces came from. And then they're hooked up with these splash brackets I have. This is another one I cut down yesterday, 7 inches, I think. So it's, and just to get those accent cymbals in there, kind of cool. Those splash things, man, you can put those all over the place. This was a talk about cymbal modification. 12-inch B8 Pro splash, cut down to a 10-inch, popped inside out, and that makes a radical sound, man. I love the sound of that cymbal. Anyway, I think that's most of the stuff that I've modified. This china is on one of those 1/2-inch rods here, steel rods with a Gibraltar tilter on it. I've just had to come up with a lot of stuff because all my stuff is in storage. So I thought if I want to play drums here, I'm not going to go out and buy a drum set or even make a drum set. I wanted to do this, and it's worked out pretty good. Like I said, I'll play this particular set and put up a video later on. The bass drum, here you can see here how this works out. Here's the the lug nuts, and they just squeeze right into the wood, and that's it. They're stationary. They go nowhere. So you set it up just like you would a regular, drum shell. There's no lugs. I mean, there's no lugs. The lug nuts are what's doing the whole thing. Hoops on the other side. Floor tom bracket to, these are 3/8 inch rods that I have, and that's giving stabilization to it. Doesn't go anywhere. So, like I said, Diehard do-it-yourselfer. I like the 18 a lot better than the 14, that's for sure. Feels better, sounds better. It's got quite a wallop when you're standing out here in front of it. And the way I made the frame, it looks bigger than an 18. It has the impression of being bigger than that. So that's I like that too. Anyway, that's my do-it-yourself stuff. I'll play the kit and give you an idea what the new one sounds like. It's got G12 heads on it, which works pretty good. So here's your 3/4 inch plywood. All right, here's your shell material, and it's got that copper spray paint on it. You can do whatever you want, stain it, whatever. And it's just high enough so I got plenty of space to tighten things down. And you get that, you get that drum head sound, kind of like what I get the idea from? Arbiter flats, if you remember those, and Rima rototoms, not quite, but the Arbiter flats gave me the idea. And then seeing Trelock Gertu set up, and also the idea of what parade, marching drum corps have with their Tim Tom sets. I was kind of looking at those one day. I thought, I want a whole drum set, and all I got to do is, it's hollow under here. I can just grab it right here and carry it. I thought, in the other video I mentioned putting a handle on. I don't have to put a handle on. It's already got handles on it. I just pick up the bass drum and the whole drum set in one shot, carry it somewhere, and whatever hardware I have. So anyway, that's about it. Modification. And if you want to modify the modifications, more power to you, man. If you can do it yourself, do it. See you at YouTube. Thanks for watching.